the end of CNN's. This is a short meeting.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Um,
Do you know what like? I mean, I just don't mean to get too
yeah, I can
specific.
share my
Maybe.
screen. I can.
Yeah, you got it.
Let me disconnect from the VPN actually. I'm
Okay.
done for the day.
Yeah, I mean, I need
Uh,
a slight review because it's been a little while. A lot of shit's happened. So if we can just kind of give like a general what we did and leading into whatever we're gonna do. I think I mostly have an idea, but
okay. Yeah, it's been a while too. This has been a long chapter just in general.
right,
Yeah, but I feel like we did it way better than we've done.
Yeah, yeah, I
I mean, we
definitely
were
like.
definitely more detailed. I'll tell you that. And that's for sure. I could tell by
I
the hours of video that I have. That's a fact.
Yeah.
I needed more. Yeah, I mean, this was
Did you guys
And
see
we
my
haven't even got to the
example
Julia
code?
stuff either. So
Did you see my example code?
no, I didn't see
I
your
did.
example. I saw your other stuff that you sent over, but I didn't
Yeah, I
see.
sent you the network.
Right. Oh. Okay. Hold on. Let
It's
me.
real simple. It's how to use the
Do you think you can pull it up real quick? You're able to?
Oh,
yeah, I can open it.
wait, we multiple people can share on this, right?
Yeah, I
I
get
always
it's
forget which
Hangouts.
one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me share screen.
Yeah, I forget where we left off too. It looks like
Somewhere in the convolution section. I mean, if you look in the
yeah, it's
convolution
the
sections,
convolution
it's
section,
somewhere
right?
in there. There's a couple of
There,
What
we were,
screen do you see?
um. Let's
Do you
see.
see yourself?
Yeah, I see myself. Yeah.
Okay, good.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
There
we
you
didn't
go.
get to this. We didn't get to the images yet, right? With 2D
Right. We did not
convolution, I
get to
think.
the images yet. Right. Exactly.
That's what we're about to do. That's actually really easy. So we'll just do
Input
that.
output comp. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember we were talking about. We were like, oh, is it just like what's the difference between this and what they were doing up? Oh, this is the smooth versus rigid stuff.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the last thing I really remember.
Smooth versus rigid, right?
Yeah.
Right. Wait, yeah. So let's start. Sorry, let's start with
Oh, I saw. Yeah, you
Michael's
sent
stuff.
this, Michael. I saw that
Yeah, this is
image.
all I want to show you. It's really short, but it shows you can load straight in with an adjacency matrix.
How big is that What's the dimensions of that matrix?
I think 34 by 34.
Oh, it's not very big, but it's got a lot of edges.
It's bidirectional.
Mm,
It
Okay.
takes a different amount of time to go to the location than it does
excuse
to.
me.
So
It's
in other words,
directed. It's directed. Yeah.
it's directed, but if it's directed in both ways, that's like saying it's undirected. So it's direct. When you say it's directed, it's just
It's directed because I have a non-symmetrical uh, matrix here.
Hmm.
So like I have a time to go there and a time to come back because it comes from Google. This is time in hours. It comes from Google Maps, so there's like a slightly different time.
uh huh. Yeah. Well, can
Yeah,
you
but
scroll up for a sec? Just that cell that you have. Wait, down. I'm sorry, down just a little bit below this. There's So it says this is an undirected example. That's why I kind of pointed that out. Although it does say a digraph.
it's a die means directed.
No, I know. Wait, what software? Oh, this is Julia. Oh, that's right.
I'm using
Okay.
Julia. Yeah,
Got
that
it,
was
got
what
it.
I wanted to show you.
Yeah.
'Cause I use this thing called light graphs,
Mm.
or called Julia graphs. It's GitHub/Julia
But the
graphs.
package is light graphs or whatever. Did
I
you
couldn't
take
figure out like I don't know if there's an easy way to install a whole package in Julia because I had to go straight to the JL files and install them individually.
well, usually you would just say add and then you could give it the GitHub page or like there's a
I know
repo.
that's what I did, but it wouldn't let me do it with this URL.
No,
I
it
had
wouldn't. Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah, yeah. It wouldn't be that URL, but they usually.
I had to
Yeah,
go to the .jl file.
yeah. It's their package system is very interesting. It's pretty unique. That being said, I'm not saying it's bad. It's just it's different, and I think it's definitely something I want to get used to. So I'd have to like look into it a little bit more. But I had some of these problems too that I remember for a couple of packages that were like, I mean,
Yeah,
even the if you look at the in the beginning of this textbook, they tell you how to install VMLS, and it's not like if you remember, it's not exactly like let's see, let me see if they have it because
the
it's
other thing I wanted to show you guys before we like get through that is I have all these metrics from those lectures. You know how I said had all there's like network density, counting the number of triangles that exist in it, clustering coefficient, redundancy.
what is this? What is this from? Oh, from
This
the
is from
lectures
those
that
lectures
you
that I sent
found.
you.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's all these different metrics for just measuring the things about the network diagram.
This is
But,
okay. So this is okay. This is from those the stuff you sent us, right?
yeah, it's in the videos. I shared the whole
Got
folder
it.
with you, but
Got it.
don't like give those to other people because
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not.
yeah. I saw what you
Yeah.
said. Yeah, yeah. I'm just loading up real quick the VMLS just to see how they tell it because I just was curious, like maybe because I remember you couldn't, like you said, you couldn't install straight from. Okay, so here's okay. Let me load it up so you guys can see it real quick. Um,
Where is the takeaways? I can't even find the.
struggle doing this. Okay.
Where's the Hangouts?
Oh yeah, I know exactly. Hangouts kind of sucks. That's the thing. It's like, yeah.
Here it is.
I have the Hangouts like on the same page. Let me move my
Stop
Hangout
screen share.
screen over here. Okay, great. Whew. Yeah. So this is how they have you installing. So you can see like in this case what plots goes to. It goes to this.
It's because it's registered.
It's because it's registered,
Julia,
right?
though.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So this one right here, this is what they did for VMLS.
And that's what I
Yeah.
had to do for each one of those packages. I couldn't do it for.
Wait, but each one of those packages meaning like a different package each time.
For every .jl file, I had to.
So
do
like
it
if
that
you
way.
had, yeah, just to clarify what you're saying, if you had a like light graphs or whatever, and there's multiple JL files, you're saying within light graphs itself, you would have to do. It might not be light graphs, but
I think so, but it would be nice if we figured out a faster way to do that.
well, let me
later
try. I mean, let me try.
Yeah.
Just because you've
on. Okay,
already.
it's the package is actually called Julia Graphs.
Okay, yeah. So you've already installed it. Maybe you can just
Yeah.
kind of point me. So can.
Yeah, I can send you. Let me send you the link, but I'm gonna
Yeah,
lose
yeah,
this.
exactly.
I gotta close all this stuff.
Yeah. All right. So let's go. Was it Julia Graphs, right? Julia Graphs. Julia Graphs.
Yeah,
Oh,
you can just
no, no,
search
no,
it.
no. Julia Graphs is a bunch of different graphs packages.
Yes,
It's a yeah. Julia Graphs
but
itself
there is a GitHub / Julia Graphs or something like that. I
yeah,
don't
there
know.
is. There is. You're right. Yeah, I think it's a collection of packages though. So I think that yeah, see, it's just this page. Yeah, these kinds of pages, like when you see a page like this, each one of these is a different package.
Yeah, that's why I was asking you if you could show
Yeah,
me.
no, there's no way to. I mean, there might be a way to install all the Julia Graph packages, but each one of these is a different package. Like you have to kind of think.
Yeah.
So it's not really.
Alright.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So you have to install them all separately if you want them all. Unfortunately, there might be a way to do them all at once, but I don't know it. Yeah.
Well, apparently all of the Julia graphing software branches off of this package, pretty much.
Off of all of these, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I believe it. That's the thing about Julia is it
Like I watched the presentation and there's like 90% of Julia graphing.
right. right.
Packages out there use Julia.
Well,
Julia
so the
graphs,
thing that
or-
I think we all should just get used to with Julia, and this is what I learned very quickly with Julia. It's like Julia doesn't have it's not like like what you might expect when you're dealing with Python or these more mature languages. It doesn't have like a bajillion, you know, packages for doing something. So you really only you end up having like this one stop shop, sort of this one place to go to. That sounds bad, except I will tell you that they with the packages that do what they're supposed to do, they pretty much like really support it hard. Um, but if you're looking for like a variety, yeah, that's not gonna happen really, honestly. Like Julia has, like for example, here's a perfect example: is Julia has like one, um, like web framework. I forgot what it was called.
Yeah.
They have like one. You know what I mean? It's like one web framework and that's it. But it's really good. But there's only one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like that kind of thing. I ran into that.
I want to get us so like that book that I showed you guys on quantum finance.
Yeah.
What it makes a lot of sense to do that directly after we do this.
I'm down to do it. I don't know a lot. I don't even know what quantum finance is. Maybe you can actually even tell me what that means.
Finance uses a lot of like physics equations,
Definitely,
like advanced,
like
higher level
Wilmot,
finance.
right? Like
Yeah, I'm on Wilmot. So I used
dude,
to
when
post,
I
I
this
don't
is the
post that
thing.
much there because I don't want my ideas to get stolen.
Well, I see what you're saying. Well, with the thing about Wilmot,
Finance is like literally the most competitive industry that.
yeah. Well, what I realized
In AI like
about Wilmot
years.
that blew my mind was, and this was actually what helped me in a couple of the actuarial exams. I actually turned to like Wilmot's like quantitative finance, like his, I don't even know, that huge book that they have, or
I'm an inner circle member there.
that
so I
multi,
have,
you know what I'm
access to
talking
them.
about though, that multi-volume series that they have or whatever. And like I turned to that to get an intuitive understanding, and I started like, it was about derivative. I think the beginning was just about derivatives and different things like that. There's like cartoons in it. They do an unbelievable job of like talking. Like I started to realize, oh my god, this is like, he was describing all the things in terms of like physics, like just like you're saying, and I was just like, oh wow, that's when it started to click for me, like help me on the exam. And I
Yeah,
did
but
not get
if you're
through
like
it, but-
me and you've done that for like years,
no, I have.
you read
not.
like quantum physics right after you do linear algebra, and you're like, whoa.
So maybe this is a good time to talk about everything. So you shared with us a quantum finance, and then you shared something else. I think it wasn't just the quantum finance; it was something else. I thought.
Advances in Machine Learning by this guy Marcos that I'm connected to,
Okay.
and it's supposedly like one of the best books out there.
Okay. So let me just throw everything on the table, and we can talk about it all. So we have the machine learning, like the really good thing that you found, the other networking and things videos that you said that sound like they're supplementary, but they're obviously have major value. The quantum finance, and then there's two other things that are very specifically Julia related that I would love to get to also, and those are the Julia. Well, first of all, by the way, before we even talk about this, we have a lot ahead of us. You know what I mean? It's not even in this
I
one.
know, but I'm like thinking about the next thing I want to do.
Yeah.
Because,
But
like,
I'm saying this book.
I want to get through this so I can get to that.
Right, and maybe we should meet more often, honestly, because this book is kind of there's a lot still to cover, right?
And I think we're better with more frequent meetings, just
I
because it
agree.
gives us more time to.
I mean, I'm biased right now. I'm not, I'm not working all day. I can meet, if Shane doesn't want to do the quantum stuff, maybe you and I can meet during the day. He might not want to do that.
Yeah, I could just show it to you, and then
I'd be down to do that, and Shane, you and I could talk about that, or you.
But I
whatever.
want to get access to a quantum computer.
Yeah, well, that's another thing. That's another. I mean,
So
we could
so
definitely
that
get a
way we can
simulation.
program
We can get a
it.
simulator. That's easy, but the actual computer.
No, I know.
I think-
I might be able to get access.
Google has an API you can hit that you can run like quantum programs on a quantum
There's
computer.
a guy in Wilmot that told me how to get
Yeah.
access to.
Yeah. But anyway, let me just add the other two things. So okay, so all the things that there, but then there's also a couple very specific Julia related things that I really do feel like this is kind of setting the stage, at least for me. And besides this linear algebra one, there's a statistics one, right? There's one that's specific to statistics. But There's also the one that's actually really the one I want to get to, which Shane and I started, which is sort of like PyTorch for Julia, and it's called Gen, and it's an AI system for Julia, and it's really the reason. It's kind of the reason like Julia was even built in the first place. So that's definitely something I would like to get to too. So I'm just
No.
throwing all of that stuff out there, and then
I
so
should
maybe
have invited you to the meeting I went to on Saturday because it would have given you the big picture. And this guy gave
big
this guy I
picture.
know he's like a
What
PhD.
what are
Gave
you
a
talking about?
lecture.
Like what was Saturday?
Oh, I had the Games Institute gave they're doing like a sequence of like lectures on like trends in AI, and he
Oh,
went
AI.
through all the
Okay.
stuff that like I know about, but in a different way. And it would have been really good to summarize everything for you, so you knew like
Oh,
the
for
big
sure. For
picture.
sure. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
sounds good.
I
Yeah, I
took
didn't realize it
notes,
was
but
AI. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The one on my screen right now is excuse me, is Jen. And Shane and I both started it. I think Michael, actually, you'd probably really actually enjoy this because
it's probably just neural networks, deep neural networks, neural
we didn't
networks.
get that far, to be
Mm.
honest.
Okay.
It
Well,
was probably yeah. Go ahead, Shane. Go ahead.
yeah, I was just gonna say it introduces a new concept that John and I didn't really know about, and it says it, right here in the first sentence and in the title there, probabilistic programming.
Yes,
Um,
I have a book on that, and that is like the
yeah.
third book that I want to do.
So it's almost like, most languages have like a
Are,
rand function,
these
right?
are
Which is like a
Bayesian networks.
uniform.
Probably. Can I explain?
It's any distribution you want. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so probabilistic programming in the paradigm of artificial intelligence came before machine learning, but it didn't like machine learning like blew up.
Right, right.
And
Yeah, that
so
makes
what they
sense.
have in probabilistic programming is like everything's Bayes based.
That's what it felt. Honestly,
Yeah.
that's actually what it felt like in what we were look
It's
like
totally different
stochastic,
equations than
discrete,
machine
continuous.
learning.
Like I mean, even if you look at this, Gen includes universal modeling language, including models with stochastic, discrete, continuous simulators. So I got that
That's
feeling too.
awesome, then.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, it
it's
was
quite
really
amazing
sick.
actually. It's quite
Um,
impressive, and because it's Julia, it's very strong in the sense of like running lots of things in parallel. So it can do a good job at simulating a lot of things basically. So it's actually
Yeah.
pretty good for this. I mean, PyTorch is I know can do a lot of the things that this can do. So it's not like totally unique to
yeah.
Julia.
And I don't know if it's like necessarily like competing against like machine learning or something like that, right? I mean, we didn't get
Right.
very far into this, but I could imagine if you had a really strong probabilistic programming knowledge, you could somehow
That's
create this
also
nice
really
marriage between
valuable
them.
to know how to do.
Yeah, it's
Probabilistic versus machine learning, which is like more like regression and stuff like that, uh, is I think going to be the future of because the thing that you can do with probabilistic programming that you cannot do with machine learning is you can add logic. So a neural network can't really have any logic in it.
Yeah, I
If
see.
then
I see. I think I
statements,
see what
stuff
you're
like
saying.
that.
It's not black boxed. This stuff, right? Like you
Well,
can
it's basically Bayes equation.
sure. Yeah, the like conditional probability stuff.
Well, no, the thing that like updates probability. So you can have a probability and update it to the new probability using a different set of equations, and that implies like linear regression is totally different. And, like it's a parallel school of thought in statistics that they don't really study at most schools.
Hmm.
wait, Bayes equation is different than Bayes theorem, right? You're saying it's not the
Oh, I'm talking about the equation that he wrote that updates probabilities. So he did everything, so it's like increment. He like breaks it down differently.
I'm not
Basically, it's
sure what
frequentist
updating
versus.
probabilities means. Is that like calculus type of because Bayes theorem is pretty. It's a
It
one
might be
liner.
Bayes theorem. It could. Let's look up Bayes
Well,
theorem.
Bayes theorem is like a one liner, right? It's like
Yeah.
the
uh
probability of A given B.
Yeah, the probability. Yeah, what's the
Is
formula? So the
B
probability.
is B given A times the probability of A over the probability of B.
Right. Right.
It's
Right.
but yeah, it's a
Exactly.
one-liner to
Exactly.
just switch the conditional probability.
Right.
Um,
Right.
Oh,
But this updating, this idea that he's talking about, does not sound
yeah, it
like
sounds
that.
like something else. I've never heard of.
yeah, I might have
Basically.
seen something other than you. That's like the main equation that I know from
Yeah,
Bayes, but I know Bayes' theorem.
That being said, what you're talking about, like even updating probabilities, does sound like it's closer to what is happening in Gen. So I don't know.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
my understand. I didn't do like we didn't
and
do
you
Gen,
end
but
up with like when you do a normal regression, you take all of the data, crunch all of the numbers at once, and push it all out. But like it's so much more efficient to use like the base set of equations because you're doing it incrementally, and you can just summarize all the old data and then
so
update it with.
it seemed to me based on like the couple weeks we did probabilistic programming, it'd be really good at like simulating distributions or something like that.
Hmm.
Whereas like your goal in like ML is to make some sort of like prediction.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I mean, you're passing. I think in Gen, you're passing random variables into functions, and those random
yeah,
variables are
it's
basically distributions.
at least like the things that came out of the box, you could instead of just having like a function that's like, oh, we want like a random uniform function, you could say, I want any type of function. Or any type of distribution. I mean, kind of
Yeah,
similar
yeah.
to we have
Well,
here. We have like Q norm or whatever.
right.
These
Right. Right.
Bayes statisticians are probabilistic statisticians versus the frequentists, and
Yeah.
they
Okay.
develop
Okay.
totally
Okay.
Yeah.
I
independently.
see what you're saying now. Okay. Yeah, I would
And it
agree
was
with that
always
then.
like a very small school of thought, but it becomes crucial to advance AI. Like in
Well,
my opinion, for the
well,
next.
well. So then that's why yeah, okay. I mean, like, so every one of these books or these things, it always, like, the ones that you're sharing are advanced knowledge type of stuff. The ones that that I'm talking about right here are sort of that, but they're more like incremental building blocks toward learning Julia at the same time as sort of
I
getting.
get a book on that.
Like
So
foundational kind of.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I want to do all of it, of course. I'm just
Yeah.
trying to think it through. And it sounds like, well, I can say the only thing I can say for sure is Shane, correct me if you think I'm wrong here. But the only thing that I feel like very strongly about out of all the stuff we just talked about is that Jen should come after the statistics one.
okay.
Other than that,
Yeah.
I don't care like exactly where it happens. It's just that's probably seems like the right.
It's going to be easier for you guys to learn the probabilistic method than it is for me because I've taken so many statistics classes. Oh, it's Shane too. Shane's going to have. It's like agony because like all the stuff you did in statistics, they do it different. Use
I
different
see.
notation.
I see. That's where I shine is when everybody else has learned a certain way and we all get thrown into a.
If you learn that, you can become like the ultimate contrarian.
Good. Well, that's just something, I guess.
Socrates.
It's like a niche. They're in like high demand, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
So
actually, let me before
sorry.
you totally go on. Like, I just want to tell Michael something. I know we're streaming, but like, I think you'll get a kick out of this. Like, I have found myself basically, and I told Shane, at war with my entire town because they are trying to like. So these kids. So in Morristown, New Jersey. There's a school that's like kind of like a private school or whatever, and these
Yeah.
kids were caught on, like, a couple different kids were caught on videos saying different things, and one of them was like two of them were like really drunk and like having a party or something right when they graduated high school, and they were like casually, like once or a couple of times, one of them casually one time said the N word, like, but in a very like stupid way.
Stupid
Not
way.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
not a, like you like not in a not intended to be like hateful, right? Like, I mean, you could tell the difference between something
Yeah.
that's hateful and something that's just being an idiot. The other kid
Yeah.
in the same video was a little like way worse. Not even a little worse, like way worse because the other kid invokes like George Floyd's name and like casually says something stupid. So they all get like they got into colleges and they all got that basically taken away.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Oh yeah. They all got it because of the video. Because it's a video out there, right? So they all get
They didn't get like disciplined or something.
no discipline, no education, no rehabilitation, right? Just straight up, cancel culture type of stuff, right? And
Yeah.
like, and not only that, they all treated like, so there was one video where this girl on TikTok, she went on Google and she typed in African Americans, and then there is a tab under Google that says shopping, and she goes, "Let's go shopping," and she clicked on that, like shopping for African Americans, right? So she was going to Colgate. They ousted her, right? They rescinded her acceptance. The two kids in the video, the one of them was going to Richmond, the one that said something about George Floyd. He's not going. The other one was going to Cornell, and they this is actually kind of strange, but almost I'm kind of like happy that they didn't go all the way, and they kicked him off the foot. So he was going to join on the football team, but he's not allowed to be on the football team. But now there's a petition to try to get him kicked off, right? Like, and this kid, by the way, that particular one, out of all of them, he was the one that was like, they're all drunk and high, and he was like, he said, "Look at this something N," right? Like because I think his friend was smoking a cigarette or something like that, and then the other guy said something about George Floyd or whatever. So he says this thing, and this goes on Instagram, and then like there's all this outcry or whatever, and they rescind the Richmond kids, the kid who said the George Floyd thing acceptance, and then they don't rescind this guy's acceptance, but everybody in my town, somebody posted this thing, and they started hammering like on these people's families. I said, wait a minute. I started being like, what do you know? What was said? What was exactly? And nobody really even watched the videos. Nobody said anything.
Yeah.
They tried to send me books to help educate me. I was like, wait a minute. No. I don't. You need to be educated yourself right now. Like, what do you? And they're like all like piling on me. Now this is a community, right? Like I teach my kids this like awful racist behavior or something like that because all I'm saying is like you don't know their families, you don't know what they did, you can't even tell me for sure that every one of those kids is a racist, awful person, right? You can tell me you saw a 30-second video and that's all you can tell me. And that's it. And that's all I was trying to get them to say. And they wouldn't say it. And not only that, the irony is they were clumping them all together and like taking away their individualism and humanity, which I think is so ironic given like that's what you're trying to defend. Right? I couldn't even believe it. I was just like, well, I could believe it because this is what happens with mob mentalities and like Antifa type
they're
of
lynch mob.
mob.
They're doing the same thing that like they claim the Democrat KKK used to do.
But
other
yeah, and now, but here's where it gets crazy, right? Because like I'm like, so I'm so measured in most of what I say back to them. I'm getting very, as you can imagine, it's me against the mob, right? And Shane saw this thing, right? Shane saw what happened. I get these black people and this Hispanic people start contacting me, and I say to them, look, you want to talk to me privately, let's get off this thread and we'll talk. And they do. And they do. And you know what they walk away with? Oh, this guy's actually not a complete asshole. This guy's actually, he's actually saying to me,
I know.
do you know exactly what was, I know you know all this because you probably deal with this a lot. But he's like, he's saying to me, do you know exactly what was said? Tell me exactly what was said. Because if you don't know exactly what happened, then what are you demonizing? What do you actually, and there's people in there who are telling me it doesn't even matter what was said in the video. Why do you even need to, Shane, you saw that. They were like, you don't even need to know the content of the video.
Well, I think one of the most outrageous comments was
do yourself a favor and go hide your whole wall. There's a way to do it. I can show you how to do it for privacy.
I need to do something, man.
They said that like all racism 1 to 10 is a 10 or something like that.
Right. So somebody said basically
matter,
what they did was the same as what Derek Chauvin did. And I was just like, no, there's no way to if you think that's a
They're
way to
nuts.
govern society, then you're a lunatic. Like,
Yeah, they're
These
crazy.
people are nuts.
yeah, man. And I just, I'm like, and like a couple of people, Shane, I didn't tell you this, but like after that, like, so other people have contacted me and tried to talk to me. And like one guy, a couple of people have jumped on to defend some of the things. Like,
Oh, there we
not
go.
much, by the way, not much, because they know. They're like, I'm not going to bring my families into this because they're just going to go after me and my family, right? But I was just so
I know. Well,
mad
what they're
at them.
doing is so like they're trying to incite terror in you.
Yeah, they're terrorists.
You got to be very cautious with what you say because it's like
I have to be perfect, and they can be totally imperfect. They can accuse me of anything they want. They're going to get a bunch of likes, and I'm going to get attacked 1,000 times over. That's what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, Shane, I showed it to you. You saw it. Like, I
Yeah,
was just
no,
like,
I mean it's crazy when you go against a mob or you go against the majority. You definitely have the disadvantage, and they can make all the mistakes they want, and they killed
like,
Socrates for the same thing. Like, actually, though,
interesting.
the extreme on the right is not nearly as extreme. I could show you a message I got the other day, but I'm not going to show you right now.
Oh, no, I agree with that. I agree with that. But I would say to you, there's something funny that I actually wanted to share with you that you may not have seen, and I really wonder how you would take it. Let me.
I have my whole profile like stripped, and like the only thing I want to do is like speak free speech.
Yeah, of course.
Like, I'm a very logical person, and I actually got it from somebody on the right, and it was like,
Did you hear what Sacha Baron Cohen?
You're supporting Democrats. We'll take care of you when this is over. And I was like, it was like threatening language. So I just blocked him and
Jeez.
I told him to fuck off.
Did you see what Sacha Baron Cohen did, by the way?
Who?
So do you know who Borat and Dolly G? Do you know who that is? Like that guy? You know
no.
Borat?
I know Borat. Yeah.
Yeah. So that guy plays a lot of characters, and he punks a lot of people. That's his thing. And like, so my friend, who is he's like an uber liberal progressive guy, he doesn't like him. And the reason he doesn't like this guy is because this guy is hilarious, by the way, but totally takes advantage of people's sort of trusting nature.
Yeah.
And he tries to put people in the most awkward situation he can think of. It doesn't really matter what side of the aisle they're on, right? It doesn't matter. It's not the point. The point is to make you as uncomfortable as possible and see how so like basically watching him is like you're cringing the whole time.
There's a documentary on this. I forget what it's called, but it's about comedians, and it's like they're just like critically analyzing, and it's not a comedy, but it's by comedians and how they can't like say comical things anymore.
Well, yeah, that's true. Here, I'm gonna try to put something on here. I don't know that the audio is gonna come through. Okay. Yeah. Sacha Baron Cohen. But I want to show you what happened here. So this guy, if you can see my screen, this is him. Right? You see this?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is him. So he's ridiculous. So he went to if you've ever watched his series This Is America, I think it's called.
Yeah.
So in one scene, he plays like a total hippie Birkenstock wearing professor and goes to like the most red city of the most red state area, and he goes to like a town meeting and he tries to tell them we should all build a mosque, right? Or he goes to like this, he pretends to be a Kazakhstan like journalist and sings a song called like Throw the Jew Down the Well, and like all this awful thing, like crazy things to see how these people react, right?
You see if they react like
he's just trying to I don't know. Like, he might have his own political opinions, but it's definitely not about that. What he's trying to do is really just embarrass people and go way too far and make it hard for people and stuff like that, right? So here's what he did like 2 days ago. Shane, did you see this? Did you watch this?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you haven't seen this? Oh, wait, this isn't enough. This is only 15
I, I,
seconds.
th-
Oh, shoot.
I think
Sorry.
he made the news, right? I
Oh,
saw. I
God.
think I
Look,
saw.
well, look at this. Look at this. He's in the news.
Yeah, I saw it
So he
come
went
up for a
to
second.
so he picked what, a far right, like as far right as he could find. Can you hear the music?
No,
You can't?
no.
I don't know how to share the audio with you guys. Hold on, let me see. Okay, so that's not right. Let me see. I'm not even gonna. Can I send you this to you and you just look this up? And let me just tell you that he went to this festival.
I can watch it later. You can just explain it.
He donated it. He donated money at the last minute. He dressed up as this guy that you see on the screen right here to do a sing along. They let him in, right? Extreme far right as he could
To make
find.
everybody feel awkward.
No. Well, worse than that. I would say worse than that, because what he did was he made a sing along. Oh shoot! Sorry. He made a sing along, and as soon as you click on this video, what you're gonna hear is Obama. What we're gonna do? Inject him with the Wuhan flu, and it's like it's a constant thing.
Oh,
of
so
like,
he recently did this.
oh, this is like 2 days ago, maybe 2 days
Yeah.
ago. Let me send you this video. It's
And what was the
unbelievable.
what was the reaction?
Well, so it's kind of funny, I guess. But wait, let me just send you the clip before so I don't have to.
Yeah, I've been seeing that actually a lot lately. Is the left trying to see like that message I got? I think was somebody trying to pretend to be
Shit.
from the right, because I mean like I was just being like I've seen people from the left pretending to be from the right and saying like outrageous things that nobody would ever say, and I've been seeing that a lot lately.
I mean, he has a long history, right? It's not this
He's
guy.
A comedian. He's a comedian.
He's a comedian.
Borat. Yeah.
Yeah, he's Borat, right? Like you said, like he's not. He's doing this because he's trying to make money on Showtime. I mean, to be perfectly honest, that's what he's doing. And he's trying to rile people up. But I know it's here, sweetie. I know it's here. Anyway, so basically what he did was he attacked like Anderson Cooper, CNN, Hillary Clinton. I mean, he had this structure. So it's a very catchy like bluegrass song, and I'll tell you the reaction in a second. But he went there and he did a sing along where he would be like, okay, what do you want to do? Inject them with, he would say, the WHO. What do you want to do? You want to inject them with the Wuhan flu, or you want to chop them up like the Saudis do? And then he would say, okay, chop them up like the Saudis do? Okay. And then people would cheer, and he'd go, WHO, what we going to do? Chop them up like the Saudis do. And and people were like singing along, and the whole point wasn't to make people exactly feel awkward. It's actually kind of the opposite. It was like to make them, some people feel awkward, but other people sing along, so that he could like create this incredibly racist and divisive sing-along. That was
the thing.
That was the goal.
In that documentary about the comedians, they were saying like comedians just draw attention to things, and it's like it's funny because it's like kind of you could just like see, you could kind of you could see the humor in it.
Yeah.
And it's like nobody saw the humor in it because
no. It's funny, and they punked them, and the organizers of this particular one.
This is a joke on Republicans or conservatives or
they're not just Republican. These guys were like pretty hardcore right-wing people, right? But that was the point. That's what Sacha Baron Cohen does. He goes and he probably looks up what's the most the most ridiculous place I can go and try to pull this off, right? I mean, that's what he's doing, right? So he went to this. I will say I watched the interview with the organizers, and they were like kind of like in good spirits about it. They were kind of like they were like because they realize. I mean, honestly, they got a lot more press than they probably ever have. It wasn't actually a
Yeah.
big. It wasn't actually a.
That's the type of thing that gets like taken by the news, and then they're like
Yeah.
they spin it.
So what? Well, it wasn't. It didn't even need to be spun. It was so ridiculous, right? Like, so what they said was they were like. So what happened was he gets up there and he starts doing this sing along for like 8 minutes of this, and it was actually like a really catchy tune, and that's what makes it so crazy. So he's doing this for like 8 minutes. He brought his own security there. They tried to shut him down, and his own security blocked them from shutting them down. But also they were there because he was like worried. He didn't want to get attacked because he's Sacha Baron Cohen and whatever.
Yeah.
So they're interviewing the people and like they're kind of mad because they're like, we tried to put this thing on. This guy comes in and they do all this divisive thing, and then they go, and also you found out who he was, didn't you? And they're like, yeah. And that's when the organizer smiles and he's like, yeah, we found out it was Sacha Cohen. So and they were like, yeah, like so.
But I think that's a lot of what's going on right now. Is like people. I mean, like. People go in and they pretend like they're on the left, or they pretend like they're on the right, and they do these outrageous things, and then I mean, like a lot of it's like brainwashy. Like a lot of these movements going on right now are pretty brainwashy, but
yeah. All right, sorry, I went off on way too many tangents.
No, it's cool.
Guys.
It's cool. Let's just get through this. And then
Yeah.
the video.
So maybe we start from the 2D convolution part.
Wait,
Shane,
real quick. So yesterday, so I just want to say a couple things before we started. So Khan actually has a video where he goes through the computation. Am I sharing my screen right now?
Hold on. Sorry. I thought I was on the right video, but I'm not. Yeah, you're on Khan's video.
So Khan actually has a pretty good video of just going through the computation itself of what the convolution function is, and so he chooses two pretty simple functions, right? Sine and cosine.
What's tau?
So T isn't actually. Well, we can go into. I was gonna share the Wikipedia page that explains some of these things. Yeah. So tau is, and that's a lot of these functions. Like when a lot of people express the convolution function, they use T and tau as well. T is a moment of time, where you'll see it's not actually like time as a variable. It's a moment in time. Like it can be like a fixed, and Khan goes through this and explains this as well. You're actually deriving with respect to tau. So anyway, he chooses two simple functions and he goes through and calculates what the convolution function is. And he ends up getting a pretty clean answer. So if you guys...
wait, hold on. Sorry. Can you back up for a sec? So he had... Why did he choose those two functions? It doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter. And he's just choosing two functions that will give you a kind of clean answer. There is a lot of computation, but he ends up getting this as the whole answer.
So this represents what?
So now I have the Wikipedia page open here. For convolution, it produces a third function expressing how the shape of one is modified by the other.
Okay. So, I see the layers going on there in the picture. So
you show a graph.
Yeah, the picture over there is a good.
So this is similar to actually. There's a picture down here similar to kind of what you were drawing, Michael. And they if it's kind of hard to see, but you see f of t, you see g of t minus tau, and then you see the convolution. So at the highest level, it's just how the shape of one function is modified by the other, and then there's a computation to it that you can go and actually do some examples with. Okay. So I'm working on my intuition here, but I thought that was helpful for me.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I want to look into this a little bit more myself. So in that picture you have f star g, which is f convoluted by g. I don't even know how to say that. And then they have g of f, and then they have f of f. So they're not even the stars anymore. They're just the straight up.
Yep. And so another thing here, it says the term convolution refers to both the result of the function and the process of computing it. So this was the final result in Khan's thing, 1/2 t sine t. So that's the convolution of sine of t.
You're saying that's only a piece of the convolution, or what?
No, that's the whole convolution. That's the result
But
right
you
there.
just said it was the result and the process.
Yeah, so the term can mean either based on this Wikipedia.
Is it
No,
the
Term
it
first
refers
means both.
convolution or is it?
the result function and to the process of computing it.
Okay.
I interpret
Okay.
that as some ambiguity of meaning either or. I don't know.
Not and, but or.
No, I mean, like you could say the word, gay means like gay, and
I know
I
what
guess if you,
or means,
We
Shane. But
need to delete this
what I'm
video.
what I'm getting
yeah,
at,
I know. I don't know if it's a
what
logical
I'm
end,
getting
like you're
at
saying,
is
right?
it
I think
like
it's like an English.
what I'm getting at is it like velocity, where you're saying, oh, you need both the direction and the magnitude, or is it like what you're saying, where it could have multiple meanings? Right? They're not the
Yeah,
same thing. And
no, they're not the
that's
same
what I'm
thing,
trying
and
to that's what I'm trying to
yeah.
get.
So you're talking about the logical end, right? And I think
Yes.
I'm talking about I think I interpret this as the
Okay.
English end.
Okay. The English
Uh,
and okay, like as if English isn't logical. Okay, all right, I got you. All right, all right.
All right.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's definitely
that's all I
helpful,
wanted to know.
though. You want to you want
Uh,
to start reading, Shane, because yeah, I know that you.
yeah, let's look at the book.
Yeah, so we're at 2D convolution.
I
So now
think
we
so. Yeah, I think that's probably where we would have left
so
off.
with that basis, I feel like we can get into how it affects images and how it's used in like neural nets and all
Can you
that.
get me something? Kobe?
So a convolution has a natural extension to multiple
No, I
dimensions.
want. If you
Suppose
can
that
get me-
A
if
is
you
an
can get me
n
something,
by
just
n
anything that I
matrix
can jump
and
on.
B is a P
Jump on,
by
please.
Q matrix.
I
Their
appreciate it.
convolution is the n plus P minus 1 times or
Right,
by
it's
n
sort of like
plus
probably what
Q
you
minus
have
1
there.
matrix.
Thank you, buddy.
Okay, so you have this convolution RS equals AIJ BKL.
Wait,
Okay.
but hold on. I think for me personally, in order to move forward, what determines the functions themselves? It doesn't matter. I guess it doesn't matter. Like A and B
Yeah,
can
I think
be any type of matrix or data sets. They don't matter what they are. It's just a convolution of one to the other or
the
something.
So
I mean, does it matter? Is there?
I don't
any-
think I think you can have a convolution of any two functions.
Okay. I guess I'll be okay with that.
I mean, let's say. I mean, maybe we'll.
Do you remember we went through? Oh, this is the same equation.
Yeah, I just don't. I guess my only question was really like, in terms of, is there a goal for picking the convolution functions? Like, where do these functions are literally just two random data sets? Yeah, maybe I need to. And
Yeah.
I can accept that in terms of just pure like mathematics, but in terms of intuition on like.
So one thing that I think Khan said, or one of the videos I was watching, they were like, there's some like extension to the convolution function. You can see some extension from like multiplication. They were saying. So I think you need to think of it like, multiplication, and you have two entities, right? You can multiply any two numbers together. You can find the convolution between two functions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's at
it's
least
just a
how-
way
that's
of
at least how I'm thinking of
subdividing
it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I got to get better intuition. I don't know what it really
So
means.
these are 2D matrices. So I would assume the resulting equation is different than our 1D. So let's scroll down a little bit. Let's see.
So C equals, so they're using the same notation here. You have A convolution B.
Yeah.
However, in standard mathematical, what? This is not denoted. Oh, it's not denoted this. However, in standard mathematical notation. So we will use the notation this, and they just give like a bold star. Okay, in this book. The same properties that we observe for a 1D convolution hold for a 2D convolution. We have that A convolution B equals B convolution A, and A convolution B convolution C equals A convolution B convolution C.
One of them.
And for
Sweet and
fixed
sour,
B,
baby. Thanks.
A convolution
Thank you,
B
buddy.
is a linear function of A. So the mathematical properties hold,
Sweet and sour.
symmetric,
Thank you, Corbin, so
commutative
much.
properties.
Yeah.
Image blurring. if M by N matrix X represents an image, Y equals X convolution B represents the effect of blurring the image by the point spread function given by the entries of matrix B.
Okay.
If we represent X and Y as vectors, we have Y equals T of B times X for some M plus B.
What is T?
Yeah, what's T? So it says for some matrix, it says this is TB.
T is a
Oh, okay. It's a function.
T is a function, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like a blur function. T
Right.
is like your,
Right.
Yeah.
Blur function. Yeah.
That's why it's kind of was confusing because you're representing them as functions, but then you're also representing them as data sets or matrices or something. You know, you're saying like
Yeah.
oh shoot, I just poured something all over my computer. Sorry about that, guys.